好，欢迎来到赞分享，一个严肃活泼的知识分享频道。今天要给大家分享的是周末特别节目最美英文系列，这是第1集。伍尔夫的怎样读书。伍尔夫是英国女作家、文学批评家和文学理论家，意识流文学代表人物。她被誉为20世纪现代主义与女性主义的先锋。2次世界大战期间，她是伦敦文学界的核心人物。如果大家喜欢我的频道，记得点赞和订阅哦。下面我们就开始吧。
How Should One Read a Book? By Virginia Woolf. It is simple enough to say that since books have classes, fiction, biography, poetry, we should separate them and take from each what it is right that each should give us. Yet few people ask from books what books can give us. Most commonly, we come to books with blurred and divided minds. Asking of fiction that it should be true, of poetry that it should be false, of biography that it should be flattering, of history that it shall enforce our own prejudices. If we could banish all such preconceptions when we read, that would be an admirable beginning. Do not dictate to your author. Try to become him. Be his fellow worker and accomplice. If you hang back and reserve and criticize at first, you are preventing yourself from getting the fullest possible value from what you read. But if you open your mind as widely as possible, then signs and hints of almost imperceptible fineness, from the twist and the turn of the first sentences, will bring you into the presence of a human being unlike any other. Steep yourself in this, acquaint yourself with this, and soon you will find that your author is giving you, or attempting to give you, something far more definite. The 32 chapters of a novel, if we consider how to read a novel first, are an attempt to make something as formed and controlled as a building. But words are more impalpable than bricks. Reading is a longer and more complicated process than seeing. Perhaps the quickest way to understand the elements of what a novelist is doing is not to read, but to write, to make your own experiment with the dangers and difficulties of words. Recall then some event that has left a distinct impression on you. How at the corner of the street, perhaps you passed 2 people talking. A tree shook, an electric light danced. The tone of the talk was comic, but also tragic. A whole vision and entire conception seemed contained in that moment. But when you attempt to reconstruct it in words, you will find that it breaks into 1,000 conflicting impressions. Some must be subdued, others emphasized. In the process, you will lose probably all grasp upon the emotion itself. Then turn from your blurred and littered pages to the opening pages of some great novelist, Defoe, Jane Austen, or Hardy. Now you will be better able to appreciate their mastery. It is not merely we are in the presence of a different person, Defoe, Jane Austen, or Thomas Hardy, but that we are living in a different world. Here in Robinson Crusoe, where children are playing high road, one thing happens after another. The fact and the order of the fact is enough. But if the open air and adventure mean everything to Defoe, they mean nothing to Jane Austen. Here is the drawing room and people talking, and by many mirrors of their talking, revealing their characters. And if, when we have accustomed ourselves to the drawing room and its reflections, we turn to Hardy, we are once more spun around. The moors are round us, and the stars are above our heads. The other side of the mind is now exposed. the dark side that comes uppermost in solitude, not light side that shows in company. Our relations are not towards people, but towards nature and destiny. Yet different as these worlds are, each is consistent with itself. The maker of each is careful to observe the laws of his own perspective, and however great a strain they may put upon us, they will never confuse us, as lesser writers so frequently do, by introducing two different kinds of reality into the same book. Thus, to go from one great novelist to another, from Jane Austen to Hardy, from Peacock to Trollope, from Scott to Meredith, is to be wrenched and uprooted, to be thrown this way and then that. To read a novel is a difficult and complex art. You must be capable not only of great finesse of perception, but of great boldness of imagination, if you are going to make use of all that the novelist, the great artist, gives you.